Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Jazakallah khair for everybody joining in. Today's topic is how to stop yelling. An interesting topic, something that we all go through, something that we all have had a lot of bad memories and bad experiences with. When usually moms come to us and say, I want to stop yelling, what are we saying basically? We're saying that we are burnt out. We're saying that we can't keep calm anymore. We say that we have anxiety because a person who's yelling, their nervous system is in a fight, flight, or freeze mode. They are basically in a fight mode. Actually, they want something to get fixed. Jazakallah khair to everybody who's joining in. Please write down when are the times that you yell. When are the times that you yell? Specifically, because I would like to just know, and actually maybe even in this live conversation, solve one or two of the mental stucks that we have when it comes to yelling. Walaikum assalam, Sister Yusra. How are you? Jazakallah khair for joining in. So when people yell, are they yelling at the child? Are they yelling at the child because of the problem? Are they yelling at the child because they think the child is the problem? Or are they yelling because they're scared of what is going to happen next after whatever the child has done? What is it that's making the parent yell? Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sister Sara. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everybody who's joining in. Jazakallah khair. So, why do women, specifically, let's talk about why do parents, just make it about parents, why do parents yell? The number one reason, if you Google it even, you will find is that the parents yell because they are, usually the children see them as annoyed. And then if you ask the children, they will say, oh, children are always annoyed. When are the children not annoyed? So Sister Yusra says, I used to yell when I'm tired because I was reacting and yelling and to nothing with the kids. It was just me taking on the frustration on them. Took a lot of work to unlearn this habit. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Exactly. And then Sister Yusra says, also yelling is out of fear when we feel out of control. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is the reasons that we yell. But how many of us come to that awareness? Today's conversation is about not to how to maintain, because we maintain how to maintain ourselves or our child so that the yelling does not occur. Let me take this out of the off the table. This is something that's very natural and very normal, that you will lose your temper. This is the number one thing. So it's not about you not losing the temper. The techniques are not about you not getting angry. The technique is not about you actually in the moment saying to yourself, oh, you know what, I'm not going to yell. Because if you're in a habitual place of yelling, of using your loud tone, first we need to come to realization that we are doing this and recognize why are we doing this. Sister Yusra pointed the two main ingredients, like when we are tired, when we are frustrated, when something in our body is not feeling right, our brain and our bodily chemicals are giving us signals that we think are beyond our control. Only then. So now coming to a person who is a habitual yeller, that person comes from the place of ego. That person comes from the place of I am right, I am big, because something happened in our childhood. Something happened in our childhood that gave us that message. And that inner child that has been stuck in there out of fear, because of shame, they are like, so imagine yourselves today as you are, and imagine that inner child inside of you scared, and their hands are like this, and they're like, and every time somebody yells, somebody shouts, they get angry inside. They're like, I want to get angry too. I am big now. I am strong now. I am right now. Now nobody can stop me. That is the psychology behind why you always lose your nerves when things are not going your way. Because when things were not going our elders' way, our teacher or our mentor or our elder sister or brother or our uncle or our aunt or our mom or our dad, what did they do? They yelled. How many of you can say that in the schooling systems that we went, our teachers were not yellers? I have been a teacher. Also, I've been in a classroom, and actually, my classroom was of 2.5, 3 year olds, and I still yelled. I'm not proud of it, but it's because I felt loss of control. Loss of control. And once we are parents, this is said to us. We don't go through any parenting diploma or certification. We don't, much less talk about parenting. We just talk about dressing up, going out, having expectations from the spouse. He does the dishes, we do the dishes. We work, they work, going on vacations. We talk about Instagram lives, right? What the boy and the girl are not talking about is how to do premarital counseling, where to get premarital counseling from, where to set expectations from. When there are arranged marriages, the moms and the dads are not talking to their children that, listen, what is your plan? How will you be like a parent? What kind of a parent are you going to be? We're just talking about when's the honeymoon, if the parents agree to the honeymoon, and if the kids can afford the honeymoon. And why aren't you having a kid yet? If the marriage has gone beyond 2 3 years, what's wrong? Why aren't you having kids yet? But are they ready to be parents? So the story starts from asking the important question: are you even ready to be a parent? Because the assumption is the minute the child is delivered, now this 23-year-old or 43-year-old, it does not matter. The age of a mother does not matter. The experience and the intellect of both the parents matters. It does not matter that you become a parent at the age of 40 for the first time in your life. That is not the problem. The problem is that no matter what age you're becoming the parent at, have you done some work on you? Are you self-aware of yourself? Do you understand the responsibility? It is a very uh, silly notion that somebody who used to just look at herself in the mirror and dress up for herself and use selfie for herself and use all these filters on her face, and suddenly now she has to be up all night and she has to be breastfeeding and her breasts are sore and she does not know why the baby is crying, has had no lives in a nuclear family, if living in a world where the parents are away and the um, uh, grandparents are not, the child are away, and whatever situation, you're just by you and by your spouse, and it's just a small family unit and you have no extra help. And even with the extra help, you have this notion like, oh, your way was the older way, my way is the new way. Now I have these apps and these books to tell me, okay, where are you at when you became the parent for the first time? What did you study? What are the practical tips that you know of? What questions did you ask? How are you in your marriage? Because at that point, the marriage kicks in. How are we helping each other? All of these things, when not dealt with in a timely, fashionable manner, what happens is it boils down to the one who is weak. The child is weak and I am strong. The child will not remember. Well, now the science says the child does remember. The messages go in subconsciously. When a woman is pregnant, the story starts from the minute she conceives, when she is pregnant, when the child is developing in the belly. The child is able to hear and feel whatever the mother is hearing and feeling. If she's happy and content and grateful and a person of taqwa, the child is feeling that. If the person is grateful, not happy, but a person of taqwa, but has a positive mindset, the child is feeling that thing. If the parent is going through an emotional roller coaster, does not have support, and is hating on the entire world, the child is going to feel that. The child is made of genetics of both the parents, what kind of temperaments both parents have. There's so many things happening. When you look at a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old and you think that this person has made my life miserable, is that a fact? And mothers say this, and I remember just here on parenting with Allah by my side, somebody said, my child, I open the door and our house is on the road and they run out and I want to save them, and I keep telling my kid, don't run, don't run, don't run, and they keep doing this thing, and how do I stop? I want to keep my child safe. No mother on earth will tell you that I yell on my child because I don't want to keep them safe. No mother on earth will tell you, I yell at my child because I want them to become fearful of me. Yes, actually, we will tell them. We in our traditional understandings, no matter culturally, wherever you're coming from, people who have lived in colonized areas of the world, whether they're Hispanics or whether they're South Asian or whether they're African or whether they're from South America, Latino America, it does not matter. We have this idea of rule by fear, and that's in our genetic system. Do you understand that trauma stays for 3 generations in the genetic system, and it is passed down? Trauma is not just passed down through genes, but trauma is passed down through a vocabulary, through words, through sentences. You are small, I am big, all of these, right? Yes, I did say Africa. Yes, yes. So any place, because if you are big and powerful and you keep telling the other person you are not powerful, just the words, you're not doing anything to them, you just you look at them with utter like disgust, and you keep telling them, you're not powerful, I am powerful. You are surely and slowly stripping that human being, that individual, of their power. And every human being is born with a certain power, and then they explore over the years their power. Every human being is born and has the right to freedom. We say that, but these words are stripping them away from the freedom of thought, from the freedom of expression, from the freedom of being themselves. And when this was done to us, do you think we will not do it to our children? And we will say we will be better? Have you ever taught in a school once, like a person of my age, a person who is in there, the millennials? Let's talk to the millennials, not the Gen Zers. Gen Zers have had different, actually, the Gen Zers and back home and different colonized worlds still today have had the same type of teaching. But just let's talk about the millennials, the peoples of the, or the X-geners, the peoples of the 70s and the people of the 80s. If you were being taught by a teacher, and Sister Yusra did say here, she said, they yell, they smacked, and wonder why our children smack us back when they're angry. It's a learned behavior. That's exactly what happened. And I used to think that when I will become a teacher, and I did a part-time job when I was what, 18, 19, in a classroom. And the classroom was okay. In my defense, the classroom was filled with like 30 or 25 students, and they were all at the age of about 8 or 9, 7 or 8. And they were all talking because the lunch had passed. It was afternoon. Everybody was lazy, sleepy, tired, not happy. I was a substitute teacher, and that was the first time that I entered into a real classroom, outside of just monitoring my own class when I was a student. And I yelled. I remember that so clearly. I asked them to keep quiet. Iram said quietly, and they did not listen. And then I, keep quiet, and then silence, pin drop silence. It was amazing. You know that fear that I instilled with that yelling, and the result that I gave, that made me feel powerful. I was like, oh my God, this is how you feel when you yell at them. This is fantastic. They listen. mm, 10 minutes down the lane, they were all doing the same thing again. Nobody listened. Nobody listened. They were accustomed to teachers yelling at them. They were accustomed to teachers asking them again and again. They were accustomed to teachers just going like mental. They were accustomed to it. It did not matter. They were like, we're 30. What's she going to do? What's she going to do? Like, yeah, how many times are you going to yell? You're going to yell, then you're going to exhaust yourself, then you're going to go away, then you're going to come back, then you're going to yell again. It's all the same. And that is exactly what happens with our children as well. We think that we yell and they get scared, but they get scared only momentarily. And that is where a mother's frustration comes in. And she says, well, they don't stop. They never stop. They don't listen. They are not listening. Are we listening? Are we listening to our body cues? Are we listening to why we are mad at them? Are we listening to them? Do we have the patience of breathing in and out, calming ourselves down and asking, like, you know what? Mother needs 5 minutes. I will come back again and we're going to discuss this. We're going to figure out what happened here. Now, I am 100% sure there's a mother watching who has a 1 year old or a 2 year old or a 6 months old or an 8 month old, and she's going to say, I cannot have a conversation with that kid. Well, yes, you cannot have a conversation with that kid, but you can definitely show love, affection, and understanding to that kid, because that kid is probably also having a meltdown. Something is happening with that child, something is happening in their brain that we are not able to grasp. And that is why I tell mothers, give yourself compassion, because you don't know all, and that is okay. Do not shame yourselves. When we shame ourselves, our nervous system gets more triggered and we become more angry. And we look at this, we carry this baby, this beautiful chubby baby or skinny baby. All babies are beautiful. And you pick this person up, this little person up, this person who is your world, who you love so much. And then you just mishandle them as if there is something inside of them that if you shake them, it will get fixed. It's not a clock that's stuck. It's not a bending machine that a can is stuck in them. If you shake them like this, they're not going to understand. What's going to happen is they're going to register subconsciously, I am not safe. I am not safe. And an avoidant or an anxious attachment style is going to develop from there, which is a different topic for another day. But this is what is happening. If I am confused from my child's behavior, I cannot yell at them and make them answer me for something even they do not understand. That I remember clearly when I yelled at that class when I was 18, 19, and this was like how many years ago? They all looked at me with a very confused look. They did not understand why this new teacher that came into the class, that was so polite and nice and asking our names and was laughing with us, suddenly has lost her cool. What is wrong with her? Why is she yelling? And then the second expression on their faces was, this is what adults do. Okay, she is just adulting. She's just being herself. Fine. So there's no La La Land. There's no this cute person who wants to be our friends. This is the same old technique. First they laugh at with you, then they like you, then they show interest in you. And the minute that you're not doing the things that they want you to do, snap, yell. They will yell, this is normal. This is okay. And they go ahead and they do it on their younger siblings or with their cousins, or when they grow up as parents, and that inner child who was not able to speak up for themselves, then they lash out on other people. So in these few minutes, basically I've given the reasons why and the reasons how. Now, to end this conversation, inshallah ta'ala, I just want to say what to do. What to do. Read, اقرأ. If you've heard this and there's something that you did not know, then okay, pass this forward. Talk about it. We don't talk about yelling. You know how we start when we say talk about it, it is to create a sense of community. It is to create a sense of connection. Instead, when we talk about things, we say, "Oh, you know what? I did this and it's so bad." And the other person says, "You just did this. I did this, this, and this, and it is so bad." And the people are connecting, but they're connecting on the platform of shame. They're not connecting on the platform of compassion. They're connecting on the platform of judgment. Who is worse than who? Because that's how we were brought up, or that's how the system was. Like, just shame the person and then suddenly they will feel guilty and then they will change. No, shame creates guilt but does not create change. Please remember that. It will never create change. Yes, if you are coming from an Islamic background and you think, well, you sin and then you do tawbah because you're guilty of it and then Allah forgives you, now that is the equation between Allah and his subjects, us. We're not Allah, and our children are not our subjects. We're two individuals, two souls sent in different times, connected with each other for life, but we are not subject and Lord. We are captain of the ship. Of course we are. We are the leaders, but they're not our subjects. They are our amana. They are our amana. And if we are not Rab, then we do not have the capacity to keep forgiving. And if you want to practice forgiveness, do not wait to practice it on your child. Wait, start to practice it on yourself. That is the first step of what to do. Practice forgiveness for you. You will yell. If you are in the habit of yelling and you are now becoming aware that you don't want to do it, there will be 3 days where you will not yell, and the rest of the 4 where you will yell, and that is okay. At least now you're not yelling 7 days. And so give yourself that grace. That is the number one thing to do. They are not our subjects, we are not their Rab, and it is okay. And it is not upon us to keep forgiving if we have not created that space of forgiveness for ourselves, for our past, for those people who we are still scared of, who we still do not like, or the person that we might be married to is our partner, and we are scared of them. And half of the yelling is because they will be yelling at us, so might as well I take out all the aggression here now. Or they yelled at us, so I might as well I take out all the aggression here now. That's the number one, what to do. Number two, what to do is, no, number one was iqra. Number two was give yourself grace. Number three is write down. People don't write down. People think it's boring. People think it's lethargic. People think, oh, I don't have time. You have these phones, right? Open the voice notes or just open your notes and start talking into it. This is what I did. I want you to write down your observations. Sister Sara and myself, as teachers, we can tell you this, that we are trained to write down about our students. We are trained to do observations. That is one of the things that we do in our teaching, in our teaching practice. Yes, yes, Sister Yusra, I'm coming to that. I will put her comment here. Write down or speak into the phone your observations. For example, 8:57 a.m. I saw him do this and I felt so angry. While you are saying it and while you're writing it, you will recognize that because you have given release to that energy. Anger is also a form of energy, right? So when you have given that release to that energy, you don't feel the need to yell. Now, if a child is burning the house down, you're not going to make an observation and then call the firefighters. You will take the firefighter, call the firefighters, one, remove yourself and your child from that situation, and then maybe make an observation what actually happened, right? When you calm down. And so the point comes to this, like Sister Yusra said, that's there, that you need time to breathe. We do not sit and breathe. Just now, I see 20 people watching here. Okay, and later on, I don't know who else will be watching. Okay, let's do this. It's 8:58. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. By now you're thinking, okay, this is an entire century that's gone by. No, nothing happened. It was just like less than 10 seconds. Believe me. Breathe in again. Breathe out. If your body is telling you you need more important work to be done, you cannot breathe. That is the problem. Why are you in such a flight mode right now? What's happening with you? Why can't you sit and breathe? Why are you so stressed? What is it that will go wrong if you give yourself 15 to 20 to 30 seconds of breathing? What will happen? Right? Oh, Gretel Ann is saying thank you. I actually never breathe because we think because we think, oh, this is for other people. This is for people who have time. Allah ke bando, like people of Allah, you are still breathing. You're breathing even worrying of time. And so the funny thing is, what you want to get done will require 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and it will start whenever you start. Breathing, you're already doing. You're just bringing your focus to it. You're just bringing your focus to it. When you are in a flight mode, when you are constantly, when you feel the need of running, all in your mind, when you feel the need of running, 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 what are you doing? You're ignoring your need to calm down. Once we ignore our need to calm down because we are so charged up, because we are basically scared of something or somebody or some comment that's going to come, which we do not know when it will come, but we know it will come because of our experiences, because of the environment that we live in, we do not give ourselves time to breathe and stop. This breathing will actually make you stronger. It will make you stronger to take negative remarks. It will make you stronger to let go of certain things that you know you cannot change. You cannot change people. You cannot change people's not remarks. You cannot change how somebody looks at you. They're looking at you in a certain way might not even be your truth. You cannot stand up for yourself because you don't know, you do not have the time to stop and think and say, this is not true, this is not me, this is not how it happens. Usually the mothers of young children get this. Oh, you did not put them to sleep on time, that's why they're cranky. Oh, you did not feed them at time, that's why they're cranky. Oh, you did not no, I did. But you don't have that breathing strength in you. You don't have that calming down strength in you. So you will get more charged up. You'll start shaking the kid. You'll start slapping the kid. You'll start yelling at the kid. You'll start yelling at everything. I know this for a fact. And again, a nice comment by Sister Yusra. She says, absolutely, our sympathetic system is a reactive system. So if you're in a fight or flight, you are not thinking, you're just reacting. Breathing allows you to calm down your parasympathetic system, which will give you a chance to make better decisions. Absolutely. Absolutely. Our children are already anxious. They were anxious from the moment they heard us go have our voice tone up. If you all remember, a few weeks ago, I did this book with you all, voice lessons, how to use your voice with your children. It's a good book. Voice lessons for parents: what to say, how to say it, and when to listen, by Wendy Mogul. Do find this in your libraries. If you do, inshallah ta'ala, it's also nice. This book is not about yelling. This book is about using your voice in a way where you're able to connect with your children, inshallah ta'ala. And so we did 5 points of what to do. We said read, we said breathe, and in between I said something else which I've forgotten now. But alhamdulillah, we did write a few points down, and I hope that they'll forgive yourself, give yourself amana. There are amana: forgive yourself, write it down, voice message yourself, or write your voice notes and go back and listen to what was happening, because that will give you a more objective view of actually what was happening. Remember, when you're yelling, you're using the power that was used on you once. I am big, I am strong, I am right, you are wrong. And if you're a person of taqwa, that's not how you want to raise somebody. That's not how you want to raise a generation. You want to raise them with this idea of, you are important, you are an individual, you are capable, you can think, you are allowed to make mistakes, you are human, you are unconditionally loved, you are precious, you are the most important to me. I am here for you as your guide, as your leader, as your mentor, as your parent. I will protect you. My loyalty as a parent towards you, my child, will always be my first priority. And loyalty does not mean that you hide their flaws. Loyalty means that you love them unconditionally. Once you say these things to yourself in the mirror as if you're talking to your child, and once you say this to them when you are in your daily life chores and activities, it builds a sense of calm and sense of trust. What yelling does, it strips away trust. It strips away trust. It strips away the calm that a parent child relationship is supposed to have. So say these things to your child. Next time you Next time you fall off the wagon and you lose your cool and you yell at your child, apologize to them. Apologize and say, I love you. I'm sorry. I'm working on myself. You tell them, listen, I lost control because in my mind, this started happening. What was happening with you? Ask them what was happening with them. We always ask in our schools, we are taught, tell the children, put onto their listening ears. How many times have parents been told to put on their listening ears, and how many times do we put our listening ears? So love yourself, forgive yourself, and create from that empathy to love your child unconditionally. They do not, either they do not know, or they do not understand, or their brain is not yet developed to understand. Two 8-year-old children in different parts of the world, or even in the same neighborhood, even if they're twins, have a different mind, have a different nature. They will act and react differently. That is their birthright. I cannot snatch it away from them. I am nobody to snatch it away from them. I cannot keep comparing one child to the other, one student to the other. Each and every person is unique. The universal law is nobody likes to be yelled at. Okay, that's the universal law. But the universal law does not say everybody will listen to the same parent. That's not the universal law. Now, that is a more personalized thing. So think of your children as personalized individuals. Each one in their package has something that's just for them, with them, about them, that you as a parent, when Allah chose us to be a parent of that specific child, have to learn and have to understand. That is our job. That's not our child's job. You have a 10-year-old who you have never had a single day of mishap with. That's highly impossible though, but let's say we exaggerate, right? We did not ever have to yell at them. They always listened to us. They were always obliging. They were always keen. They were curious. Even if they made mistakes, it wasn't as dramatic as this one does. Well, yes, this one came to you for a reason. Allah wanted to test you and see how good you are at it, and give you the opportunity to up your parenting skills. Up your parenting skills then. Learn. Why do we want comfort? Another thing that you need to tell yourself is, I'm yelling because I want comfort. But will yelling bring comfort to me or to my child or to this relationship? These are the important questions that we can ask ourselves that will change our pattern of thinking, of seeing things, of putting things forward. Inshallah ta'ala. Jazakallahu khair. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzah ma yasifun wa salamun al mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Jazakallah khair, Sister Samina. Thank you so much. Everybody, please, we have a lot of good parenting videos on our YouTube channel. We have our memberships. You can sign up to be a member at Parenting with Allah by My Side. The Parenting Tribe Facebook group is for you. Please always do feel free to ask questions, to put on topics that you want to hear, because that's what our team does here. We bring to you Sunnah, Quran, and science-based learnings that we are learning ourselves, that we are implementing ourselves, and we want you to implement and make this parenting journey easy for us. Jazakallah khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless your motherhood, bless your parenthood, bless your family, bless your children. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair, Kurtland. That's such a nice comment. Thank you so much, my group of favorites. Okay. Assalamu alaikum.